So why Corestrong? Just to start off, when people hear the word core, they think of the stomach area, the abs and the obliques. Okay, first off, I always like to bust the bubble of that information. The core is not the abs and not just the abs and obliques. The core starts from the cervical flexor all the way down to the pelvic floor, but that's just on the physical side. So when I actually talk about my brand, Corestrong, I'm talking about the mind, body, and spirit. Okay, being strong on all levels. And why did I come up with that? How did I come up with that? Just to let you know, this came out piece by piece. It wasn't something I sat there and thought about. It was just different levels over the years that stuck out to me. I mean, red and black was always my favorite colors, and white was always in there with them, and it popped up, and I'm always thinking about energy. You know, I always think about what does the colors mean, or how much, what is the energy of those certain colors, because everything starts with energy. So, and it built up from that, and as I started developing who I was becoming as a lifter, I got deeper and deeper into it. So you have 3 triangles. You have a white triangle, you have a red triangle, and you have a black triangle. Okay, the white triangle represents the mind. Okay, the white triangle, essentially the bottom inside corner of the white triangle is the mind, which also represents innocence. The top of the white triangle is your faith, which also represents the energy that you give. Okay, and then the outside part of the white triangle is your purity, or the space that you hold. Okay, now on the red triangle, you have the inside corner, bottom inside corner of the red triangle, you have the body, which represents desire. The body is, the flesh is desire. We just desire, we lust, all that, okay? The body is desire. Now the top of the red triangle is your willpower. That represents your repetition. Whatever your willpower is, you're gonna have more repetition in that, okay? So the outside triangle, the outside of the red triangle is your love, which also represents the time that you put in. Now, with the white triangle and the red triangle, they coexist simultaneous. Okay, so you have the inside of the white triangle, which represents the mind, which is innocence, and you have the inside of the red triangle, which is the body, that represents desire. Okay, so whatever you desire, okay, the innocence of the mind is going to take in. Okay, so the innocence, the mind is going to take, because it's a clean slate. All right, now you have the top of the body. Okay, you have the top of the red triangle, which is your willpower. Okay, well, like I said, with the willpower, okay, that represents the repetition. Now on the top of the white triangle is your faith. Your faith represents the energy that you give. So whatever your faith is, or you give your faith to, or the energy you give out there, okay, that's where your willpower is going to come from, and that's what you're going to put your love to. That's what's going to get the repetition. Okay, now you have the outside of the red triangle, which is your love. Okay, the thing that you put time to, your love. Okay, now what you love and you put your time to comes from the space that you hold. Okay, the space that you put yourself in. All right, so if you want to become the strongest person in the world, how are you going to become the strongest person in the world if you always around people training for the X Games and BMX X Games? Okay, you're going to become better at that than becoming the strongest person, because that's the space that you hold. So with all corners of those triangles, when all 6 of those triangles are working simultaneous and are on par with one another, then and only then you're gonna have this black triangle. Okay, before I really get into the black triangle, The color white, which is the mind, it literally, the color white means innocence, faith, and purity. Now, the red, which red actually means desire, willpower, and love. Okay, so you kind of get where I'm going at. Okay, you're going to get the black triangle. All right, so one of the sides of the bottom part of the black triangle is the mind, the other side is the body, and as a whole, okay, you have the spirit. Okay, so what does black mean? Okay, black means power, authority, depth, and the unknown. Okay, the spirit is the unknown. You don't know what's going on, but it's authority. You feel the power, okay? You feel the depth of it, okay? So when all those things are working together, then and only then you get the spirit. So therefore, when you're whole as a person, you become the absolute best person that you can be. So how can we put this together so I'll use me as an example, okay? Growing up, when I was in 9th grade, I said I was going to become the strongest person pound for pound, okay? 9th grade, all right? So the innocence of my mind, okay, it was pure, okay? It was pure. So it was a clean slate, all right? But I put myself around those environments, okay? Those environments that I needed. Okay, I stayed around the gym. Okay, I stayed around people that was highly competitive. But the only reason why I stayed around those people that was highly competitive, because that's where my faith was. I believed that I was going to become the strongest person. So therefore, I put my energy to that, and I was always in that space. Okay, so being, in that space and had that faith and giving that energy to it, okay, my desire represented my desire. My desire was to become the strongest person in the world. So therefore, my willpower, I was getting a lot of repetition in what I wanted to do, or the love, okay, the love that I had, which I spent time, okay? So in order to become the best person at what at the best person you can be, okay, you have to put in time and repetition. So when you put the time in, okay, putting yourself in that environment, all right, so you're going to college. First, you're putting yourself in the space of being exposed, is your exposure, okay? You're being exposed to the thing that you want to become. And then once you get finished with college, what they're gonna say you wanna be a doctor. They're gonna say, okay, you can't be a doctor yet, but you have to go to clinicals. You have to be involved in it. Okay, so that's your experience, that's your repetition. All right, so in order for all this to work is that both sides have to work simultaneous. All right, and then once the mind and body work simultaneous, then you don't have to think anymore. A great athlete or a great salesman or great anything is when you come to the point to where you don't have to think anymore, you just react. That's what the spirit is. That's where miracles come from. So when I'm lifting 600 pounds at 130 pound body weight, I'm letting go. I'm not thinking. I'm not judging. I'm not looking at the weight and say, man, that's a lot of weight. I gotta move that weight. I'm letting go. Whatever happens, happens, and I'm just going to it. And that's where, if you ever were a competitor, whether it's high school level or higher, those moments where you can see things but not really see them, and you can hear people cheering you but not really hear it. You're in that flow. So that's what the spirit is, and that's what I'm talking about when I talk about Corestrong, is all those things working simultaneous, and then you become the best person that you possibly can be.